Hello and welcome to today's trade recap. Today is August 13th, 2026. I took 4 trades today, 1 break even, 1 loss, and then these 2 wins on screen right here, giving me $1,127.70 across all 5 of my accounts, totaling to $5,638.50. So let's get into it. Now, coming into the new day open, we were a little bit stuck between previous day high right here and our CPI data low right here. Now, ES did sweep out these data lows. However, I was very convicted that we wanted to go to these data lows. So while this may still be bullish, we haven't swept out this or closed below it to go down. I was looking for a sell to take us down to these data lows. Now, we tapped a bearish 30-minute gap right here. So I'm immediately going down to the lower time frames, waiting for some kind of entry. Now, this is from our open, so what I ended up doing is taking the inversion of the new day opening gap right here, entering right there, stops at the quote-unquote protected high through the gap, and targeting the data wick right over here for a 2.9R trade. Now, I went break even. Once we got a market structure shift or whatever back to the upside, so once we closed above here is when I went break even. And then as you can see, we just slowly chop and hit my break even point. And then Asia opens right here, and that completely flips our direction for the day, shooting us up. So after this point, I wasn't really looking for longs until we had a 30-minute gap that we tapped into and then respect it. Aligning with our higher time frame narrative, showing this is still bullish. We haven't gotten out of this range, so I would expect us to go up here and sweep out this. Now, what we end up getting is this 30-minute gap right here. Now, I don't take an entry from this. I just personally don't like it. I would rather wait for us to make another 30-minute gap and sponsor a move to the upside over here. Now, we end up doing that, giving us a 30-minute gap right there. And if you drop down to the 1 minute, once we tap it, since it was a sponsored gap and since we're stuck in a clear 30-minute range, stuck between the news low and the daily high, I'm waiting for, the highest confirmation possible, which is a market structure shift or break a structure above the swing high that swept into this gap, which was right here. So upon doing that, we have an accumulation manipulation, and then I would enter after we quote unquote distribute. And I just didn't like this risk to reward, especially this random V shape. I didn't expect we were going to continue to just go higher. Now, as you can see, that is the case, and we do continue to just go higher. My TP would have been there, and I would have been in this trade all night. Now, to me, this was an okay fade. I think for the rest of the night, we might have dumped back down. I probably would have gotten break-evened after this move up and then right there. But later in the day, so this takes us through London. London kind of does whatever. Now, going forward in the day, in New York, we have a, this would have gotten stopped anyway. We have, We have a 30-minute gap get made right here, and this was a Judas swing off open. Now, a lot of people took this today. They took a 15-second inversion. I personally didn't like that for 2 reasons. 1, we're still stuck in this range with 2 strong draws, and 2, by the time they got their entry confirmation, we had put in a bearish SMT right about, I believe, right there. We put in a bearish SMT. Now, are we going to push through that SMT and take out the daily high? I don't know that. Now, we did have ES all-time highs, as you can see right here, which got hit as we pumped up right here. So I guess I could have taken this long, but that's fine. We get all-time highs on ES, so then I'm waiting for high time frame structure to be made. Now, what we end up making is a 30-minute gap. We make 2 30-minute gaps right here from this giant move up in New York AM and this tiny 30-minute right here. So we inverse this tiny 30-minute, but we also make an hourly gap. Now I'm waiting for the highest high time frame gap in the leg, which is this hourly. So I'm waiting for this hourly to get hit. What we do on ES is we also make an hourly as well after closing above all-time highs, showing me that we may want some sort of psych level, like maybe 7,900 up here, 79,850 up here, I don't know. So we tap this hourly on ES, we tap it on NQ. I'm looking for my entry on NQ, taking us to what is all-time highs on ES. not going any farther. You know, I have an overarching target of a daily swing up here and a 4-hour swing a little bit lower than that right over here. However, you know, that's low probability since I'm sweeping out New York AM high before that, which is also an SMT with all-time highs on ES, if you want to think of it that way. So what happens is we touch this 1-hour gap. I'm then waiting for any kind of entry. Now, I did take an L because I entered when I shouldn't have. So what I ended up doing was right here, I saw this displacement. I saw this 1-minute inversion. I saw us tap this gap. We got a resweep after we tapped the gap. I didn't really want to wait until we broke structure back to the upside, so I just took the inversion and I got immediately wrecked. Now, I usually don't just take inversions, but this time I did. I was driving the car and I wasn't fully locked in, so you know, this would have been the trade. This is what I was going for, and I should have waited till we closed above this high since there were no swings until we swept into the gap right there. That would show us that structure wants to then go higher, sweep out this accumulation range, etc., go up to my target. Now, I got immediately wrecked, so then I'm like, okay, I'm actually going to wait until we close above these swing highs. Now we're putting in more structure down here. This can give me a better entry. So, you know, once we sweep out this low right here, I'm then waiting for an entry closing above this high right here, and then we resweep that low right there to a tick. So I'm waiting for an entry right there. We get our close. I put my stop at the low and I target my full TP. Upon doing this, we come very close. I have a break-even point right here. So I'm already down on the day. So my psych's a little affected. You know, I'm break-even on the day around, I think, like this area or something. So I'm really just trying to end the day green, if no profit at all. So it takes us a while to start going up. But what we end up doing is displacing to my break-even level right up here. So after we start pulling back, we end up making a 30-minute gap right over here. Now I'm looking for us to tap this gap and maybe respect it if we continue to sell off, or maybe we'll respect one of these more premium 15 minutes up here, or a bunch of these 5 minutes that we made along the way. So if we play some candles, we end up chopping, and we tap our 30-minute, get a resweep. Now what happens is lunch opens right around, not lunch, sorry, PM opens right around here, and we pull down into this range. We tap our 30-minute right here. I'm waiting for a close above the high that swept into 30-minute. We don't get it. Then we resweep. So then I'm waiting for a close above this high, and then we resweep again. So I'm waiting for a close above this high, and then I added into my position with 1 extra micro right there, with my stop right there, and my TP as the same target. So what this allowed me to do is basically trail my position into guaranteed profit from having my break even be down here to my break even is now at this stop loss. So this stop loss is now protected, I think should be protected, because we broke structure after putting in this low out of a 30-minute gap aligned with my high time frame bias up to my draw. So once we do this, I am then going break even on this other trade, right, as we sweep our high up to our overarching high right over here. And if we play some candles, we slowly start moving up there. I go break even right here, securing myself even more profit, because not only was this guaranteed profit on the day, even after my red trade, this was even more profit on the day. And as you can see, we just hit full TP and then start to sell off. So those are the 2 trades I took today that won. The loss was right before it. I was a little early to the move. But if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments. Other than that, have a great day.